Can you guys hear me now? Can you guys see, hear, everything like that? Are we good? Okay. Well, I figured out the issue there. Apparently my VPN was on. So that is why I was having trouble. So, hang on. It's still telling me that YouTube isn't receiving enough video, even though it actually is. Okay. Alright, so I wanted to play some Geo-Political Simulator 5, and then as well, I also wanted to do a long discussion about the upcoming presidential election. We're going to be talking a lot of politics, so if you guys are one of those that are just like, you need to stop talking about politics, like, come on. PoliticsGaming, we're here. We are a political channel. The only difference is that I don't want to judge you or anyone else on their political views. I like to have discussions and have open-ended discussions. Now it's telling me that it's receiving enough video. But yeah, so I want to talk a lot about the election. And as someone that voted for Trump in 2016 and 2020, I've pretty much made my stance known. I pretty much made my stance known that I am voting for Kamala Harris. I have voted for Kamala Harris. So one of the biggest things that kind of like gets me right now is just like I'm able to see a lot of the stupid crap that people would do to try to like justify like Trump. And it's so embarrassing because it's just like, man, that was me at one point. And I know people like think that I know there's this like idea that Trump is better, and I've had this discussion, I've heard this discussion multiple times, that it's like everything was better under Trump. Everything was better under Trump. And it's just like everyone just kind of forgets. They kind of like go back and think, oh yeah, I'm going to remember everything between 2017 and like January 2020. But then not even January, like December 2019. Like it's like 2019 is that cutoff, and that's because a lot of what happened in 2020, 2022, 2021, all of that, it's just like this weird like black hole. You can't necessarily remember what happened because it's just like there's so many things that have happened that you block it out. I want to see if these highways work now. Do they? Come on. Ah, we're stuck at 23:59. But yeah, it's just like I just genuinely do not understand the idea. Yeah, the things do. Oh wow, damn, he is hauling ass. I just don't genuinely understand anymore, like, the idea behind voting for Trump. And it's like, the only reason that you would vote for Trump is because of, like, oh, things were so much better under Trump. Like, oh, this wasn't happening, that wasn't happening. Like, I could have afforded things in 2019, and then now that Joe Biden is president, like, all of a sudden, all of this starts happening, and it's like, okay, what was happening at the time that Joe Biden came into power? And it's more so a discussion of, do you want to blame Trump or do you want to blame Biden? I don't think the pandemic was Trump's fault, because that was a virus that was released from China. China was being very shady whenever it came to things like releasing information, notifying the WHO, notifying the CDC, everything like that. No one really knew what was going on except the Chinese, and even the Chinese were kind of like, we have no idea what's going on. Like, so I think it's like stupid. Seriously, is this bug still here? Where are you going? So, I don't know. It's just like, it's so dumb now, because it's like, it's so dumb now because it's basically like this whole, I'm just gonna forget everything. Okay, why is someone on a hunger strike? And then we also have like some new information coming out now. And so apparently last night or yesterday there was a huge freak out. I mean, I was driving around all day, so I couldn't really like see what was going on. But apparently there's a pollster in Iowa that basically has been able to predict the last couple of elections, pretty much every election since 617,000, Jesus. Pretty much every election since like 2008, this person has been able to provide the results for. And maybe they've been off by a couple of points every election. I think like the most I saw was about 5 points. They released a poll yesterday from the Des Moines Register, and they basically said that Iowa, which has voted for Trump by nearly 10 points in 2016 and 2020, but voted for Obama in 2008 and 2012, they're voting for Harris by 3 points. Now, the validity of this poll is kind of like under scrutiny right now, because everyone's just like, oh, they're just timing it to try to get people to not vote. I think that's so stupid whenever it's just like they're just trying to dissuade us from voting. Like, if someone doesn't want to vote, they're not going to vote. That's their fault for not voting. Like, no one's gonna feel like they're like dissuaded from voting unless they genuinely don't care. If they don't vote, they don't care. They don't care enough to be able to say, okay, I'm gonna go vote. And then people are like, well, like, we need to flip California. Like, you're not gonna flip California even if you turn out every Republican in the state. You have to flip voters, and a lot of people just are not flipping. And so one of the biggest things that I'm seeing now, and I've been reading about in the last couple of days before this election, which is on Tuesday, by the way, we have a lot of information that is coming out that basically says that, and I'm also going to pull up Polymarket, even though I hate using this. A lot of information is coming out that a lot of women are starting to make up their minds, and that was actually the biggest the thing that was noted in the Iowa poll, is that women are starting to make up their minds. College-educated people and women are making up their minds, and they're going for Harris by a lot. And Polymarket is pretty much stable right now. About 54% for Trump, 45% for Harris. Apparently, Pennsylvania actually flipped too. Let's look. Now apparently Pennsylvania flipped back to what's his face? Yeah, Harris was actually in the lead for a minute, kind of like 2 times, and then Trump just came back in the lead because I guess everyone came to their senses. And so a lot of people are betting that Nevada is gonna go for Trump. I'm gonna laugh my ass off if everyone's getting excited over Nevada, because they did that. They did this back in 2020. They got excited for Nevada and then nothing happened. They got excited for Nevada in 2022, nothing happened. I feel like Republicans now, like, it's just like this whole they know that what they're saying is wrong, but if they think that if they keep saying it over and over and over again, that it'll actually change people's minds. And especially what I'm kind of hoping for, it's just like they want to win places like the suburbs of Pennsylvania, and they can't. They can't. I mean, like, there's so much strong support for Harris in the suburbs that just there's no one there that wants to support Trump. And apparently a lot of different Republicans are coming out for Harris as well. And the way I've been comparing it is that as a Trump supporter, whenever I was in high school, I voted for Trump. And when it came to wearing a shirt, for example, I was very kind of like afraid of wearing a Trump shirt because I was afraid of, I mean, I would get bullied back in school because I would wear a Trump shirt. Was it deserved? Probably. But, walking around, I would get a lot of weird looks or something like that. And then now wearing a Harris shirt going out in public, why come on, why is everything happening? Going around wearing a Harris shirt, it's like, I mean, yesterday, me and my girlfriend were out at Walmart, and this guy came around the corner, saw me wearing a Harris shirt, and then all you hear whenever he turns around the corner is just like, Trump 2024, and I'm like, okay, really? Obviously, and I'm not getting beat up or something like that, but it's like there is like this weird difference now that it feels like less people are likely to say that they're gonna vote for Harris because they're afraid of what Trump supporters will do. And this is the exact opposite of what happened in 2016, where the reason Trump won is because there was a hidden Trump vote out there of people, of middle class suburban people, especially women and men, that were afraid of coming out and saying that they were going to vote for Trump. In my mind, I genuinely feel like that this is going to happen again, except it's going to be for Harris. And I don't think there's this whole like idea now. In 2016, it made sense because people, like, this was like genuine thought that people had in 2016. The reason Hillary Clinton lost is because they weren't ready for a woman to be president. A lot of people said that the reason they voted against her is because they didn't want a woman in the White House. That has not come up at all. Maybe with like a lot of the older people, it has, but with anyone else that you ask, the reason usually isn't because she's a woman, and this is the stupidest thing that I've ever heard so far. It's because of her laugh, or it's like a lot of just shady BS that no one can even justify behind themselves. Because I've had this discussion several times with like a friend of mine, and he says that one of the reasons why he didn't vote for Harris is that she can't do some. God, I can't remember off the top of my head now. Funny part is, I'm seeing a lot of people in Texas, and I live in Texas, by the way. A lot of people are starting to vote for, they're voting for, was that pesos? Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. 20 pesos, hell yeah. Anyway, there's a lot of people right now in Texas that are like cross-Trump to Colin Allred supporters. So like some of the most conservative people that I know are flipping from they're saying no to Harris, but they're saying yes to Allred. So we might have a chance to actually see, even if Trump gets elected, the Republicans could lose the Senate because they're losing the state of Texas in the Senate. If we get a Democratic senator elected, even though Trump is winning the state, that is going to be the funniest turn of events of the night. So if you guys are going to be watching the results, watch the Texas Senate race, because that is going to be a nail biter. And it could be within maybe like a couple of points, but oh my God, like the amount of people that I'm starting to see flip from, vote for Trump, but then also vote for Allred, the Democrat, that's kind of insane. Okay. Anyway, thank you, Rue, for the 20 pesos. Really appreciate it. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in the chat. So this is gonna be based off of I'm gonna do this in the chat during the duration of the stream. So regardless of who you support, who do you think wins the election? Is it gonna be Kamala Harris or Donald Trump? Regardless of who you support. So don't vote on it based on who you support, but vote on it based on who you think will win. So Trump failed to get the supper from the moderate electorate? Maybe. I don't know. The biggest thing that really pisses me off about people that cover elections and polls and everything like that, I don't think anyone genuinely knows what people are thinking until... I don't think anyone genuinely knows what they're thinking until the election happens. Until those until those votes start getting counted, no one in a right mind knows what the hell's going on. If they tell you that they know what's going on, they don't. They just don't. They're gonna lie. They're gonna say all these different things, because you see all these people saying like, oh my God, the votes are 400,000, so many different votes, like because it's so funny, because they go off of like the party registration in the states that have party registration. So it's kind of like frustrating at times, because you just see these people that act like they know exactly what everyone's thinking, what's going on, everything like that, and then all of a sudden we have 2016 on our hands because everyone got their hopes up or something like that. Like in 2022, this was the last time that I ever voted for Republicans. In this election, I voted straight line Democrat. I voted Republican in every election in that I could have. I voted for conservative candidates, for Republicans, for everything like that. I voted for it in 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 21, 22. Every election that I've ever been able to vote for, I voted for the right-wing candidate. 2022 comes around. Everyone was saying it was going to be a red wave. It was going to be a red wave. There's going to be a huge amount of Republicans that are going to get elected into the Senate or into the House. What happened? It was a disappointment. Everyone was wrong, because we have these people that look at these polls. They sit in the freaking bedroom all day live streaming, and then they go to like these events that are echo chambers. It's just a bunch of people that agree with them. Why would they have the ability to get accurate information whenever all they're doing is that they're getting biased information from echo chambers? You go to CPAC, you go to even things that, like if it's a majority amount of people, like if there's not like Democrats and Republicans going to these forums, then it's not accurate. You're just having a bunch of people that are hearing what they want to hear. And even the polling, I saw this thing, I can't remember who said it, but it was actually, it made a lot of sense that polling takes what people are saying and it just reflects it. So if they get, if they are wrong, then they are not going to be taken seriously in the next election. So they go off of what everyone else is saying, or they bend and kick all of the demographics and everything. And I think that just polling helps to get a gauge of what's going on. But in an election this close, we can't rely on polling. Even an Iowa poll that has Trump up or Harris up 3 points, it's probably going to be wrong by about 5 to 7. But I mean, the fact, and this is how I take that Iowa poll. Even if that poll is wrong, and obviously Harris does not win Iowa, if that poll is wrong by 5 points, all of that 5 points going in Trump's favor, that's still Iowa dropping like a freaking rock for Trump. You go from 9 points to 3. That's a positive 2% for Trump. That is still, you're going from nearly 10 points to 2 to 3 points. If that margin of error all went in Trump's favor, even if it was beyond the margin of error by 5 points, 6 points, maybe even 7 points, the fact that it is that off and that people are not supporting Trump as strong as they did in 2020 or 2016 in Iowa, that's only 6 electoral votes. I get it. Or what is that, like 4? Anyway, that is still a telling example of what is going on. That there's a very, very large amount of people, especially women, that are coming out and saying that they don't like Trump. And this is going to be a big surprise on election night when a bunch of these women come out on election day, or just already have voted, and they say no to Trump, and then a lot of people are going to be disappointed because a lot of different Republicans are doing the same thing that they did in 2022 whenever they said, oh, we're gonna, like, this is gonna be a landslide. People are expecting 312 electoral votes for Donald Trump in some circles. So Hear me out. I'm Latino. I'm Mexican, and sadly, the best option as my optics is Trump. The whole migrant caravan is insane over here, and they're starting to take whole countries on border towns. I get it. But at the same time, like, are you Mexican? Like, are you in Mexico? Do you live in Mexico? I think most of your base is Republican, though, PG, so naturally people here will mostly vote for Trump on this poll. 54% from Paris. I mean, that's good, actually. Because you used to be Republican, yeah. And I think it's still funny how, like, some people... I think it's funny how, like, some people still don't remember, still haven't seen that I switched, and people are like, wait, weren't you for Trump? And I'm like, yeah. Okay, so trade agreement between Kazakhstan. They're selling coal to the United States. Let's go ahead and look into this. 30 million tow worth of coal, and for $9.7 billion. We're gonna reduce this. Negotiates. Okay. Just play the game, bruh. Bro, buddy really hit me with the, just put the fries in the bag, bro. Just put the fries in the bag. Where in Africa are you from? $62, 22 million. Tanzania, hell yeah. But my Democrats are cheating. Yeah, that's what they're exactly gonna do. They're gonna say they're cheating regardless. Honestly. Something we should make drug dealing legal across the USMCA and develop cheap and risk-free party drugs so we have another other leading industry. Jesus. What kind of idea is that? Seriously? I'm gonna have to report that as a bug real quick. Hang on. Yeah, no one's reported it. But yeah. So I think that the election is going to be pretty tense. In my gut, I can see Kamala winning, honestly. And that's not because I do support her. It's mainly just because, just based off of what people are saying, how people are feeling, and if you get out of the echo chambers, I believe that Kamala could walk away with this. It's going to be close. It's not going to be a landslide unless something is really, really, really wrong. But I can 100% see. Kamala just being able to walk away, call it a night. Yeah, that Iowa one must at least. The Iowa one does at least suggest the possibility that there might be something wrong. And yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking, is that for that to be off by that much, she had to have been specifically only calling Democrats over and over and over again, and then turn around and then call maybe a handful of Republicans. So I'm gonna say that that poll is wrong, but for it to be off by that much, there had to be some really, 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 really funny stuff happening. And as a accredited poller, you can't do that. You can't risk your job just because of politics, because it's your job. This is how you make money. Why would you ruin it like that? So I'm not necessarily attuned to the history of this poller. All I know is that she's gotten all of these elections right, and that there's a possibility she could get this wrong. But again, you have to be off by a lot to be able to say for a certainty, oh, you ass, you're the one who refused it. Yeah, so I think that something weird is about to happen, and we could see a Kamala Harris victory in a few days. The fact that it's a few days away is interesting. The margin of error is 6 points, so if it gave all of it to Trump, 3 plus 3 for Trump is still terrible for him there. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying, is like, even if you were to say the poll was 10 points off, him dipping 3 to 4 points in Iowa, that's still bad in Iowa. After everything that's happened, you can't be dipping in Iowa like that. I would say like 6 points is about like the largest that it could be off by, but that's still plus 3 to plus 5 for Trump. That's still a 4 to 6 point loss. Non-minimum salary. Dude, seriously, it's... I'm gonna grab that and post it in the bug thingy. I'm gonna post this bug real quick, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get a move on with it, and we'll stop, pausing all the time. Here's a Texas poll. It still shows like that Cruz is ahead by like 4 points. That's still hilariously bad. We're mostly going to be trying to get to the US presidential election. I'm having Biden step aside, and then we're going to... I'm having Biden step aside, and then we're gonna try to see if who's gonna be my little next person to step up. Really hope it's gonna be Kamala. Really hope that's reflected here. No, probably not. There's Tim Walz. Gabe Vogel in the chat. We're just basically letting some time pass by. What is that ominous whirring sound? You talking about the music? Can you give a short summary of why you will vote for Harris? I don't like Trump anymore. Like, it's just kind of like, it's just the stupid idea that he's playing this, like, game, this version of 4D chess that he's gonna take down the deep state and he's gonna fight for everyone and drain the swamp and everything like that. He didn't do anything in his 4 years. He wanted to say that he was like gonna get rid of the deficit. What did he do? He ruined a historically low deficit in 2017 whenever he came into power. Whenever he came into office, had like I think like $400 billion deficit, passed the tax cut, which I'm not saying I'm opposed to tax cuts, but he comes in, starts a trade war with China, and then passes the tax cut, and then balloons the deficit from $400 billion all the way up to about 1.3. So there's this notion that Trump was so much better, I guess, than I don't know. The last couple of years of politics has just been so annoying that people just either don't care or they just are forgetting just what happened before the pandemic. Yeah, and just like Rue said, Trump monetary policy is the reason why the inflation crisis happened. So, whenever it comes to inflation, people are like, and I actually had a discussion about this. I used to work at a grocery store, and I went in there to visit after I got off of work from my new job. And whenever I went in, I was kind of talking to like my old manager about politics, And eventually a person, a customer came in, and they kind of got in on the conversation too. And then so eventually I kind of mentioned, whenever I was right wing, blah 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 blah. And then so me and her started to have a discussion about that. And then she was just like, well, do you think that things are going to get cheaper if Kamala's elected? And I went, I don't necessarily blame Biden for the inflation, because and I never really got into this because I was trying to hit like so many different marks on this during this conversation. But whenever you look at it, Trump did a lot of this spending, because the whole notion of inflation is that inflation is caused by an oversupply of money in the monetary system, right? Trump printed $7.4 trillion while he was in office. Most of that was during the pandemic. Was his response needed? In a way, yes. Could it have been better managed? Yes. All of that is in hindsight. But whenever it comes to blaming people, we need to be serious whenever we talk about what happened to make the inflation happen. It's not sending money to Ukraine. It's not sending money to Ukraine. It's not sending money to Israel. It's not sending money to foreign aid. Because if we're sending money out, that's money that's not inside of our supply system. The inflation is caused by the money that's circulating in our domestic economy and money that's flowing back in from the outside. The inflation crisis wasn't just an American thing. Once all the other economies started to suffer from inflation, the European Union was suffering inflation. They had to raise interest rates. The United States was suffering inflation. And it's like, the way I like to describe it, it's like holding a slingshot back and holding it and holding it and holding it and holding it and holding it. And then whenever you let go, that's inflation. Because the economy being shut down was us starting to pull on the slingshot. And then you just keep pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling, waiting for it to be corrected. Because it's not in a normal state. Once that slingshot gets let go, then that's whenever you have this snapback. Because you can see it in the jobs numbers. You can see it in the GDP numbers. You can see this this skyfall, this just Armageddon happen, where you see all of these numbers, all these jobs getting lost, 10 million jobs lost in the pandemic. And then automatically within that same year, you see everyone go right back up. And then everyone come in 2021, they start going out, they start spending all this money. And at the same time, you had things like the stimulus checks. That was like hundreds of billions of dollars right there. You had PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program. You had then right around 2022, you start to have this like after effect. And then you start to have the supply shortages. You start to have the war in Ukraine start. And people are like, what does Ukraine have to do with us? If the war in Ukraine didn't start, we wouldn't have gone through such a strong period of inflation. Because we immediately had to cut off our economy and the European economy from the Russian economy. We had this decoupling that just happened extremely quickly. We would suffer the same thing if we went to war with China. And people are like, well, we didn't have to do that against Russia in the first place. If it's your prerogative to deal with dictators whenever they're invading sovereign nations, that's on you. But it's not going to happen whenever everyone else doesn't want it to happen either. Like, just because you're an isolationist doesn't mean that everyone else is an isolationist. One of the main reasons all the commodities are expensive is also high and steady oil price. Yeah, I mean, I remember that oil was trading at like negative during the pandemic. And people, my favorite one is whenever people start saying the gas prices. They say the gas prices are like, oh, look at this. Look at this. Look how cheap gas was under a certain president. Then it's like, what happened to make the gas go that low? In my area, it was like 90 cents for a tank of gas because no one was using it. No one was using it, therefore the price started to go down because of the inability to get that out of the market. So the oversupply in the market led to prices going down. And people like, oh my god, we had it so much better. That was during the peak of the pandemic. I went into the middle of a city and during the pandemic. I went into the middle of a downtown area. Not a big city, but it was a rather large city. Went into the middle of the city. No one was in the downtown area. The central business district. No one. Not a single car. And it was just me and some of my family. No one. Yeah. And then now, his strategy is to outgrow the debt, but you need to increase GDP on a ludicrous mode like 15% per year. And if he makes that, I'll be the first to call him the emperor of meme kind. Yeah, exactly. You can't. And even then, with inflation up to, or growth up to 15%, inflation would follow it. So, we're just trying to get to the election at this point. Come on. Really stuck at 23 and 59? Okay. The energy bug is still not fixed. Ow. I don't even know what's going on now. God, the freezing just throws me off so much. Have you considered playing City Skylines 2? I have it. I have not played it in a minute. Come on. Come on. Yeah, I'm gonna save this before it crashes on me and then I'll lose all this progress. Damn, these things always take so freaking long to save, man. There we go. Nope, we just went into negative growth. They really like to ask. This was rejected. Boo! Alright, I'll invite him over for a meeting. like how I'm like totally on the edge of a recession, but then my unemployment rate is like at 2%. Okay, inflation actually kind of works. Alright. We're just basically just playing this until... We're kind of just playing this until the election kind of comes around. That's really why I'm kind of like silent, just watching. What's sad about all this is that the National Guard has been called up to protect elections from little MAGAs. Can you imagine? Bruh. A video cassette. I think you have cheaters in the poll. I see poll viewers coming and going, and poll has 49 votes. No, I mean, I have 180 views, and views have actually been pretty consistent, so I don't think it's like cheaters. It's just people just see the poll and are voting in, which is kind of the intention. If I saw like a big spike or something like that, then yeah, I'd probably agree. But Okay. Apparently Labour just won in the UK. Do you think Trump will throw Ukraine out the window if he wins? I can't say for sure, honestly, and that's why I don't want to vote for him. Because just his lack of overt support for Ukraine, and he has to straddle the line between his own party's like skepticism of come on, this is so annoying. He has to straddle his party's like own skepticism and then turn around and say, oh, Jesus Christ, like, I cannot think. He has to straddle his own party's skepticism and then turn around and also say, like, yeah, we're gonna support Ukraine. We're gonna support Ukraine. And then 20 minutes later, turn around again and say the complete opposite. So it's very confusing, and it's just not what I like. I'm 99% convinced he works in favor of Putin. I don't think there's like a Russia connection, you know? I don't think it's like he's like a literal, not metaphorical, like literal puppet of Putin. I think that he's just buying into whatever's popular. He's a populist. That's all they do. He doesn't care about the sanctity of Ukraine. He cares about trying to buy into all the crap that it's a money laundering operation and playing the peacemaker, saying if I was president, Ukraine never would have happened. And then whenever it comes to actually answering the questions, it's not anything like, oh, like, here's my plan, this, and this. We're going to continue to provide weapons. We're going to continue to support them and get them into a good position for them to sue for peace. He could come out and say, I'm going to give them what they need and then make sure that we want to end the war, but not put Ukraine in a position where they're not going to be not put Ukraine in a position where like most of their land is going to be taken away. From what I've heard, Trump is pretty pro Ukraine, but he can't come out publicly because if he does, then he's going to lose a substantial amount of his base that think that he's against it. Because most of these people will genuinely tell you that it's a money laundering operation. That pretty much there's like, I mean, like some people will go as far as to say that there's no footage of the war at all. That the war is fake. That there's no Russian troops on the ground in Ukraine. And that they'll just tell you that it's so stupid to explain out loud. Like it's so unbelievable. But this is like a genuine part of the American political dynamic right now. So I don't think he's in favor of Putin. It's just that he wants to buy into the whole America shouldn't do anything. And I mean, I actually had a conversation with someone at my new job. They were like, why does America have to do it? And it's like, if America doesn't do it, someone else will. They're like, okay, well, why can't China do it? China would not be putting anyone in a position to where they could fairly do something. It's just genuinely stupid. And like, going back to what I was talking about going back to what I was talking about the, what do you call it? Man, I love losing my thought process. Trump will sever all ties to Ukraine. I don't think he's gonna go that far. One more month until the beginning of the campaign. Come on, man. This freezing is just so bad. Come on. So frustrating. Try to put a month on, see. Don't worry, the stream will get a little bit more active whenever this election comes up. Really hoped for a plan with big Lend-lease program for Ukraine and dropping oil price, but I doubt it will come. See, that's the weird thing is, like, we actually did sign, like a Lend-lease agreement with them, or we passed one into law. U.S. Ukraine Lend-lease. And it was like, it literally revived the 1940s law. Hard to extend the Lend-lease program beyond September 2023, but expired on September 30th. As of October 1st, 2023, the Act has been terminated since the fiscal year of 2023 has been over without any use of the Lend-lease. So we literally passed it as like a symbolic measure and did not do anything about it, and we're wondering why the Ukrainians are losing. I don't know why, like, whenever these guys show up, like, they're not even saying anything. That's a bug. How is Germany destroying its own economy? What's happening with Germany? Just a straight 0% growth rate. Production shut down, why? Alright, we're almost in the election period. The official campaign will be soon. This is your last chance to participate in the elections. If you're refused, the party will be very disappointed, but they will have no other option than to nominate a candidate in your place. Do you wish to present yourself as a candidate for the Democratic Union, Mr. President? No. We will not. But unfortunately, it's not Kamala Harris that's going to be my candidate. I wonder. Program. End your life peacefully, Jesus Christ. Fundraising, there we go. just keeps pausing itself. Ooh. Whoa. Hang on, let me get this money real quick. Okay. All right, let's go. That's interesting to say the least. Didn't expect that. Can you imagine if that happened? $12 million from Warren Buffett. And then Jeff Bezos is about to give us some money. 1.5 million. Let me go back. Damn, crime's on its way up. Candidates. Come on, I don't want to do electoral fraud. 110. Georgia. So, education, work is what I'm looking for. Work. Okay. That put me up sufficiently, so we should be good. Seriously? Boo. I defeated GPS 5's Biden with a Haley-based character in a landslide. Oh my god, look who's the leader of the Republicans now that we get to run against in 2028. Ooh, $118 million in profits. Come on. Come on. Come on. Look at the amount of freezing in this. I like how Johnson is just roasting us. Dislike. Should I do the funny thing? Oh, it's already the election period. Why are you asking me? Damn. Alright, one more month and then we're good. Damn, I've been streaming for 2 hours. $360 billion worth of debt, Jesus. Hope that's a bug. I like how I have 15 people here and 71 people have voted in my poll. Come on. Grab a few more fundraisers from individuals. Usually in my strategy, I'm also noticing there's no polls that are coming in to tell me like who's doing what. I also need to meet up with the Green Party and tell them to back off because this is stupid. It's like Ross Perot numbers that they're doing right now. Chuck Schumer is the nominee, not you, PG. If it gets closer, I'm gonna go for the fraud option. Oh, come on. I literally have been dumping so much money into the cyber thing. Come on. Political parties. See how much was lost. Losses from cyber attacks, 26 million. Not too bad, but still. 148 million. I still have a fundraiser that's about to come in. Funds raised during the last campaign. Are they using Mississippi's old flag still? Come on. We're almost done. We're almost done. Ah, yeah, they are. Almost there. Just a little bit more. I should probably save the game, actually. Whenever we get past this 2359, we're going to save the game. Okay. Oh. 118, hell yeah. Okay, we're going to save this one more time. Last few days. This is dragging as long as the actual election is, honestly. Moldovan election is super close, so are those results right now? How do I see the results? Where do I go? This is going to be a very tight one. Look at his little face. Really? You proposed to reduce the minimum wage and he didn't get a single point off of it. Minimum solidarity allowance. Let's put that at $100. Okay. Whoa, Jesus Christ. Oh my god. This thing is so buggy right now. I didn't even get to see my final results. Alright, 2 more days. Let's watch these results. Ah. Yeah, we're just sweeping. Another cyber attack, really? Oh. Could be Chinese work, but we're not in a position to prove it. Okay. We are gonna go ahead and call this live stream it. So we're gonna go ahead and save it. And then we're gonna head out. Mostly because if I'm just gonna play this on my own a little bit. That way I can get to the inauguration and everything like that. I wanted to get to the election today, just that way I can just move on and everything. So saving. Okay, I'm gonna report these bugs, just like the optimization, how long it takes for things to process. There we go, see. The game is getting better. They're releasing a lot of updates as of late, but it still needs work. Would I recommend it? Yeah, kind of. You took power like 2 weeks after the election. Well, usually it's what do you call it? Like, pretty accurate. Like, it shows you the College of Electors, and then it shows you the inauguration on the 20th of January. Just giving it a little bit more, and then we'll be good. I do need to make another World Warfare and Economics video. I tried to make one like not too long ago, and then it like my mic quality was so bad, I was just like, Jesus Christ. I mean, I didn't even think about this at the time, but what I could do is just use the footage and then just kind of like record over it. I didn't even think of that. Usually that's what everyone else does. I like to record live and then just edit it. Come on. Come on. You can save. You can save. Doesn't take this long. Okay. Alright guys, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you guys want to see more content like this, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss anything whenever I do make it to the channel. If you guys want to see more Geo-Political Simulator 5, again, subscribe to the channel. We are now 400 subscribers away from hitting 10,000. That is insane to me. I didn't necessarily think that I would ever get to 10,000 subscribers, but I'm so happy to see that more and more people are starting to like my content. And again, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and take care.